Hi guys, welcome to Mr. Smith's Kitchen. I'm Brian, Mr. Smith Kitchen, as always. And it's Wednesday and I thought we'd do some dinner. We're actually going to do some brunch today instead of dinner. And I thought today we'd do chili. I know you're like, chili? Brian, come on man, it's not wintertime. You're right, it's not wintertime. Chili's good any time of the year, at least in my opinion, in the opinion of my children. Chris, she thinks it's a wintertime dish. That's okay. Whatever it takes. So, before I get into this recipe, don't forget to subscribe down below. Thumbs up, thumbs down, always welcome. Right next to the subscription button is the notification bell. That'll let you know when my videos come out, so you can catch them and share them with your friends. Oh, the thumbs up, thumbs down, like I said, they're always welcome. They tell me two things. One, good, bad. Are you just, messing with me? Whatever. But they also, more importantly, help our channel grow by putting us in other people's feeds due to the YouTube algorithm, as you all know about. And that will also help our community grow. That's awesome. So, comments, like I said, comments are always welcome. Just be civil. It's okay to disagree. Just think before you type. So anyhow, this chili, it's a different chili. My friend Niles gave it to me. He says it's his famous gold tooth chili. And it is really good. Like I said, it's not truly traditional. There's no chili powder in it. But it does have some seasoning in it, some vegetables in it. I'm putting a couple different meats in it. His just had hamburger, but he had mentioned to me that he wanted to try sausage. So we're going to throw that in there today too and see how it tastes. Now, I did get a chance to taste this. He sent a bowl of it home with me, and it is amazing. Now, wasn't there when he was making it, and his recipe is kind of a dump recipe. He just puts what he thinks looks right in it. So we kind of guessed on some of the amounts. But that being said, let me get the camera down, and this, I'm telling you, this is a quick to put together chili though. I'm gonna let it cook for a little while, but it doesn't take long to put together. So let me get you down to the counter and the stovetop, and we'll start going over ingredients, how much, when to put it in, and what to do first. All right, so give me 1 second. Okay, so down here on the counter now, where all the magic happens. First ingredient, one of the more important ingredients, is the meat. Now, he calls for 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds of hamburger, but we had talked about maybe trying sausage in it when he gave me my my portion to try. And so I'm going to go ahead and try some sausage in it. So I've got 1 pound of sausage and 1 pound of hamburger in here, and I just need to get that on and browned real quick. Okay, but we're not going to take anything out of the pot when we're done, like we do on some days. We're just going to brown it, and then we'll move on to putting stuff in there. So let me get this browned, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, we got our beef and sausage brown, and if you don't have to brown it completely, because remember, we are going to cook this, but one thing you do want to look for, we're going to cook this for, at least an hour or two on the stovetop. One thing you want to keep in mind is, depending on the type of hamburger you use, you want some of the grease in here, the fat content, to give it flavor, but you don't want a whole lot, so you may want to get a syringe or take a spoon and pull a little bit of that out, or even pour a little bit of it out, depending on what kind of hamburger you use. So the next things we're going to add to this is going to be my brain is, as always, not real functional today, and I got a couple other things on my mind of things I still got to do today, but and trying to remember what goes in here is interesting. 1 tablespoon of dried basil, dried chopped up basil. Put that in there. We're going to put 1 tablespoon of oregano in. Now, like anything else, you can adjust the seasonings to match your palate. So the next thing we're going to need, we got 1 tablespoon of basil, 1 tablespoon of oregano, and his recipe calls for 3/4 of a tablespoon of cayenne. Now, it is good, but I don't know how well my family will take that much heat. because it does have a little bit of kick to it. So if you like it, you know, go ahead and put your half to 3/4 tablespoon in. I'm using a half a teaspoon of cayenne. It's just enough to give it a little heat, but not destroy everybody else in the household. So, and then we're going to add a tablespoon of black pepper. Which is a fair amount of black pepper. Yeah. And he's got us using, he also calls for a tablespoon of salt, but I am not putting a tablespoon of salt in. We don't eat a lot of salt in our food, so that would be very, it would make the food taste very salty for us. So I'm just going to use a teaspoon of salt in there. And like I said, you adjust this to meet your needs in your kitchen with your family. Now we'll stir this up real quick. Everything we put in here, spice-wise, the oil, the grease that's in with the hamburger and the sausage in this case, even though there's not really any sausage fat in here. The sausage has been really lean lately. I'm not sure why. But the grease, so to speak, the oil, will wake those spices up, so you want to stir them all in before we do anything else. Alright, we got that in there. And that's all the spices are. There is no chili seasoning, anything like that. Which I did notice that with the kind I tried. Turn that down a little bit. So the next things we're going to add to this is just a can of mushrooms. You can also use fresh mushrooms if you'd like. But it calls for a jar or can of mushroom of your choice. I'm just using regular old stem mushrooms. Get those in there. Wrap around that flavor. And then it calls for 1 green pepper, 2 red peppers, and then I am adding an onion to it. I think onion should belong in everything, and if I remember right, even though he didn't put it in the ingredients list, I think I remember seeing an onion in his. So I've got 1 green pepper, and I've got mine diced up pretty kind of chunky. The onion, not so much, because nobody in my family likes thick chunks of onion, but they do like onion, so I got those a little more diced up to meet our needs. We're going to get those in there. We'll get those stirred around just a little bit. We don't need to get them softened or anything like that. But like I said, this is going to cook. It's not going to cook crock pot slow, but it's going to cook, a couple hours slow at any rate. So the next thing we want to put in is we've got all that acidity going on in there. We will, especially when we put the tomato sauce in. So to help balance that acidity, we're going to put some brown sugar in, a tablespoon of brown sugar. Get that stirred in there. And that helps counterbalance the acidities, which also brings out the flavors of everything that's acidic, which will be like the tomato sauce, the chili beans, things like that. That's another thing. And we'll talk about that here in a second when we get to it. All right, so next thing we're going to throw in is 2 cans of chili beans. Now, I'm using my chili beans, and I'm leaving the sauce in them. Because they're chili beans, they naturally have not naturally, but they have the sauce that's in them has all the flavors you would use for a chili. So I can throw that in there and get my chili powders and stuff that way, which is why I'm under the impression that he didn't do it that way, was because he knew he was going to use this chili sauce that was in the beans to help add that flavor. So make sure you use a bean you like, whatever your standard bean is. We make our own, and we personally think it's like the best chili bean out there. So, and I do believe I even have a video on it. All right, so we've got all that mixed in. We got 2 more things to put in. One thing we'll put in here in a little bit near the end, but we're going to need essentially 73 ounces of tomato sauce. Now, I'm using, it's 2 large cans of sauce and 1 small can of sauce. I have a can of store-bought, my last quart jar of my own, and then instead of using a 3rd can of sauce, a small can of sauce, as I dump that all over the place, I am using a small can of crushed tomatoes to put in there. All right, boom, done. Overly full and ready to go. Now, I could try this now to see if it needs anything to it, but it hasn't had time to mingle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up to a solid boil, well, a boil, and then I'll turn it down to a simmer. I'm going to put the lid on it and let it cook for a couple hours as soon as I clean up my mess. Okay, so we're starting to boil. So now what we're going to do is easy. We're going to give it a good stir. And you'll want to stop by every once in a while and give it a good stir. This is definitely not a put on in the morning before you go to work and, you know, take care of it when you get home. With it being on a stovetop, it's going to cook quicker, and, you know, you want to give it a stir every once in a while. And in case you didn't notice, I did switch pans. I just felt that one was too full. So, I'm going to turn it down to low, about 2, and I'm going to throw a lid on it, and I'm just going to let it simmer for a couple hours. All right, that's all, you know, all we're going to do. Now, in that couple hour time frame, I am going to periodically give it a taste. Probably after the first hour it cooks a little bit. That way everything gets a good chance to get to know each other and mingle and play together and have a good time. I'll give it a taste and see if it doesn't need a little more of this or a little less of that to suit what I can remember his taste was like, and maybe something I would like. Chili is one of those things that you can add and take away to it to make it your own, and, you know, meet you kind of like what your family likes, which is awesome. So I'm gonna let that cook for about an hour, and then I'll taste for salt and pepper, so to speak, and then probably let it cook for another hour. We're gonna let it cook down and really get to know each other on a low heat. So when I come back, we'll take a look at it and serve us up a bowl and give us a taste. All right, I'll see you here in just a second. So it's been about, I don't know, hour and a half on the chili, and I tasted it for salt and pepper. And I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm in a wind tunnel per se. I got the fan on. It's powerfully hot. It's 98 degrees outside, and the air conditioner's working overtime, and I'm using the stove. So it got a little warm in here, so I got a fan going. So it's been about an hour and a half on the chili. We're starting to thicken up, starting to look good. And here, I'll bring it over to show it to you. And I mean, I could literally cook this thing all day and we'd be okay, but yeah, right there we are. Yeah, it'd probably have been better if I brought the camera to the chili pot. All right, why don't we do that real quick? I can show you where we're at as far as that goes. But there is our chili right there, looking good. Now, there was one ingredient I forgot to tell you to put in here, and I didn't remember until I went to taste for salt and pepper, which I did end up adding a little more salt. It didn't quite have the flavor. You know, it needed something. It tastes kind of bland. So I threw some more salt in there. So I do recommend that full amount of salt in this. So the last thing to put in this for the last half hour, and like I said, you can cook this down as thick as you want. I just know 2 hours for us, it gives it a nice, it's thick, but it's not, you know, like salsa. Is some cilantro. And I just got some fresh cilantro. And we're going to throw about a cup's worth. The recipe reads a third of a bushel of it. You know how you buy it in the store and it's in that little wrap with a chunk of, it's about a third of that, but it's, I'm putting about a cup in there. I'm going to call it a cup. At least with the bushel I had, that was a third. So, I'm going to put this in here and I'm going to let it cook for about a half hour longer. You know, and that will give that garlic, like I said, I completely forgot about it was just the standard minced garlic. If you have fresh garlic, you can use that. And I have some, but we also have a thing of just the jarred garlic. And so I put a tablespoon of this in it. Along with the cilantro, we'll let it cook down. And when I come back here shortly, well, for you it'll be like a millisecond, we'll give it a taste and see how we go with the garlic and the cilantro. All right, we'll see you here in just 1 millisecond. Okay, y'all, it's been 30 minutes. of letting that all kind of get together and know each other since we put the cilantro in. And I think it's going to be time for a taste. Hands down. Now, even if we use the exact recipe, which we did, minus, I put sausage in it. Let's say I followed it verbatim, and you'll have the same thing go with you. It still won't taste exactly like mine won't taste like the gold tooth, chili that Niles gave me the recipe for. Which, if you want to know why it's called gold tooth, it's because my friend Niles, who has an odd sense of humor at times, likes to tell everybody that his dad has a gold tooth, which I find absolutely hysterical myself. But I didn't use the exact same ingredients. Like the tomato sauce he used was not the tomato sauce I used, as things like that. I'd probably use a different company of cayenne. So everybody's is going to taste a little different. With that being said, but we're still going to pour us a bowl. Get us a bowl, and let me bring you down here so you can take a look at her. Right there we are, and see how she tastes. Let's give it a shot. What do you say? I know my kitchen smells fantastic. It's a little hot in here, but that's all right. That kind of comes with the territory. It's officially summertime as of yesterday, and we have been blessed with a 98-degree day today in June. It's never used to happen. That's okay. All right, let's give it a shot. Get some of that cilantro in there and all that other goodness. Tastes just like the chili that he sent home with me, a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, wow, that's good. It's hot. It's good. Yep, you can, man, that really just has a great flavor. And the cool thing is like the chili recipe that I put on here previous, the slow cooker one, it's done with a lot of different ingredients. It's a completely different chili. You can make chili 1,000,001 ways. But this is a good chili. It's not horribly thick or heavy or, it's more like a chili soup. Maybe, but it's good all the same. Try this recipe. Let me know what you think. That's the most important, is what do you think? I know Niles likes it. I know I like it. I know my family will enjoy it. But what do you think? Let me know if you make it. If you like it, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know. Tell me why. Tell me if you did something different. Different is always fun, which is awesome. Matter of fact, the Mexican casserole that we made a few weeks back, there was someone that commented on it that said that she used Doritos in it. And I thought, that's awesome. What an amazing idea. And I would like to try that next time we go to make it. She used it instead of the tortilla shells. Why not? Layers of Doritos, taco flavored Doritos. Heck yeah. So anyhow, that being said, tomorrow we are going to do oatmeal cookies, and I really think you'll like this recipe. I've already shot the video, just so you know, and I've tried the cookies, and wahoo, they are great. And I'll let you know that they're great on tomorrow's video. But it's a really easy recipe. It's all stuff you should probably have in your cabinets anyhow as a staple for baking. And they take no time to make, no time at all, and they are just chewy in the center, a little crisp around the edges. They're amazing. All right, so till tomorrow, I love you. I love you very much. I mean that from the bottom of my heart, with all sincerity. Tell somebody else you love them. You love them very much. Make some of this chili and sell it, and share it with them. Sell it to them. Share it with them. You'll make a friend. I guarantee it. And they'll be able to taste the love that you have for them and making this chili. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. So, till tomorrow for oatmeal cookies. I'll see you then. All right? Love you.